Hey everyone, Alrighty here. No build video today. At the time this goes up, the servers are probably down. I've been playing this game for the past 9 years of my life, and I just want to take today and talk about my journey through Destiny. But before we begin, a bit of housekeeping. I said at 1,000 subscribers, I'd do another Carhe Emblem giveaway. And we reached that milestone, so again, thank you. And so, the winner of the Carhe Emblem giveaway is... Everyone has a different beginning to their story, and mine starts back in 2015. That's right, with the Taken King. I didn't start playing this game back in 2014. Me and my brother, we had been saving up our money to finally buy a PS4, and it just so happened that the one we picked out was themed after the Taken King. Now, I had never heard of Destiny at this point, but boy am I glad that we chose that PlayStation. Now, I don't remember much from my time back then because I didn't really do much. I was a blueberry, just running around, shooting my favorite weapon, the juice gun. And so while I had my fun with it, the game just faded out of my rotation with nothing to do. Then came the summer of 2017, and Age of Triumph had released, and I found my way back to Destiny. Now, I had never done a raid before Age of Triumph, but that's what it was all about. They all came back, 390, so without knowing what it was or how to do it, I joined an LFG post for King's Fall. The team was kind enough not to kick a little squeaker who didn't know what he was doing, and while we didn't finish the raid, I had such a great experience that I wanted more. So, like many of you have done before, I turned on the guide videos and listened as Dado explained to me what I needed to do. And when I went into the 390 version of Crota's End, I beat it, and that is where I fell in love with Destiny. Summer went on, and the hype for Destiny 2 was all the rage. I remember playing the Inverted Spire Strike during the beta, and that glitch that let you stay in your roaming super permanently, so I was more than excited to experience what looked like was going to be an awesome cinematic story. And to be honest, when it launched on September 6th, I wasn't disappointed. See, while I had just been getting into raids and things like that, I didn't really understand what was so vital to Destiny. Things like random rolls, unique exotic quests, or even more specific things like Nightfall specific rewards weren't really on my radar like that. So when Destiny 2 came out, I didn't feel like I was missing anything. Hell, I was happy just doing public events in the EDZ. It was a new raid to try, and Leviathan was really cool. I loved the royal aesthetic and the guns and the mechanics. Even the 2 expansions didn't really disappoint me. I mean, Curse of Osiris, yeah, a little bit, but I still played it enough to get my Sagira shell. Rest in peace, by the way, Sagira. But when Warmind came out, that was a really good DLC. I loved spending my summer in 9-man excavation protocol lobbies, farming for that shader. And when Whisper of the Worm came out, I guess I was finally starting to understand what so many other players had missed from D1. Now, to me, it's still early days, even for Forsaken Times. But here's where they brought back a ton of what players had missed and then some, from random rolled weapons to new supers, and what most people consider to be the best raid, Last Wish. So to me at least, it still felt like nothing was missing. People were happy, and the content that came out that year was still great. Black Armory, Season of the Drifter, which I know people have their problems with, but Season of Opulence especially, it all felt like we had such great content during this time. Now, it's around this time a trend of me taking the December month off of the game came about. Most years I play the game for about 10 months, and I take 2 months off around winter, so I missed a bit of Black Armory, but it stayed around, so I was still able to get my Hammerhead and Blast Furnace. No, not you guys, the old ones. So, along came the split from Activision and Bungie, leaving our yearly expansion to be Shadowkeep. Now, this is the first time that I remember feeling some form of disappointment with the game. The story did and still does not make any sense to me. Funny enough, it's the only year where I have both the destination seal and the accompanying raid seal. But yeah, I really didn't get this one, so I stopped playing, and I didn't come back till the tail end of Season of Dawn. But the year was 2020, so the lockdown started, and during this time was Season of the Worthy, and that's all I played. I remember players being a bit upset with the season, that it was basically just a public event, and that the Fellwinter's Light Quest was breaking, and that Trials came out basically frozen, but I still loved the game. That's why I kept playing, because despite the feeling that something was missing, I was still having the time of my life. And with Season of Arrivals being such a great season, I was ready for what Beyond Light had in store. But there were some things that nobody was happy about. Destinations and paid content leaving the game, weapons that we had to grind for now expiring, and new ones having an expiration date attached to them. It didn't feel good that all of our work and time invested would need to be deleted, but hindsight is 2020. Now, Beyond Light came out, and Stasis was really fun, broken even, for PvP, but that's about where the praise stops, minus that PvP bit. Sorry if that's your favorite part about this game. The story was a bit easier to follow than the last one, but where was the loot? There were more guns taken out of the game than put into the game, and outside of the raid weapons, what they put into the game wasn't really that great. Things looked kinda grim. Many of us had given them the benefit of the doubt when they took away our guns. But now we're sitting there with no loot left to chase and no loot left. Now I believe even then that there was a heart to this game, because consistently I knew year after year there would always be one thing that would make me fall in love with the game all over again, and that's the music. So when I, and I'm sure everyone else who went outside of that space station, heard that beautiful music, we heard something special, the Deep Stone Lullaby, and I knew that a game with this much heart wouldn't die. So thankfully, my favorite season came out next. Season of the Chosen is what I attribute to me becoming fully invested in Destiny 2. The guns, the activities, and the story all took a turn for the better here. It was so interesting to see characters with complex backgrounds again. My favorite cutscene, Zavala in the tower, a man who has so much weighing on his shoulders that he can't even get a moment to rest, not even when he tries. Now the rest of the year was filled with great seasons. Season of the Splicer, Season of the Lost, even the 30th Anniversary Edition. All had great stories, great content, great guns, for the most part. So suffice to say that with the Witch Queen coming right around the corner, I was going into that with the height of my enthusiasm. Finally, we've come to the best expansion, Witch Queen. Yeah, I said it. I think this one is the best one they've done yet. Now, I've done a retrospective about this one on my channel before. So, to reiterate a few points about the beautifully cohesive story, the environment, the weapons, the raid, I loved it all. Even weapon crafting. No, I don't miss grinding for 50 hours to get a perfect 5 out of 5 spare rations or mindbenders. If you do, then sorry about you. This year had the best story to date. Now with lasting consequences, answers to some questions, and new questions for us to wonder. The story was absolutely wonderful, from its incredible level design to its wonderful pacing. I loved the game so much this year, I even tried to get that contest mode emblem. I didn't, but I tried. Now, every season this year was consistent. Maybe one dipped a bit, but for me it was still fun. Season of the Risen is probably one of the more likable seasons that released with an expansion. Haunted was pretty awesome, bringing back the Leviathan. Plunder, I know some people have their problems with, and yeah, that rebuild event was kinda lame. But again, Catch Crash was fun at least. And Season of the Seraph is very close to being one of the best seasons. Without my bias, I could see the argument for it being the best, especially with that beautiful cinematic going into Lightfall. Looking back on that year, it's pretty easy to see why we had such high hopes for Lightfall. From the activities, to the seasons, to the narratives, things were looking pretty good, but if only we knew what was to come. Now, a bit of my journey here is that Witch Queen is where I first started my channel. For some reason, I had an idea to make a YouTube channel, and again, for another reason, I decided to make PvP build videos, which PvP wasn't even my favorite thing in the game. I made 2 videos, saw some success, and then stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I think I was getting busy with school in the summer. Sometimes I wish I didn't stop. Other times, I think stopping is what ultimately set me on the path to be where I am now. I don't know what the right answer is, if there is one, but the point is I'm here now, and that's what counts. Light fall, light fail, light lost, money down the drain. This expansion has been called many things. In good faith, I can't say that good is one of them. In many ways, I've heard people say that this one felt like an afterthought. Some say the raid is boring, with like one mechanic in there. The weapons that have appeared in promotional material that are nowhere to be seen in game, and don't get me started on the Veil and all that mess. Now, while the story of Lightfall and also Season of the Defiance wasn't really that good, the next 3 seasons brought a fairly cohesive story with the goal of trying to figure out how we can stop the Witness. But again, before I can cover those seasons, I have to again stop and look at my story. This is the expansion in which I came back to YouTube. Ever since March of 2023, I've uploaded at least 1 video a month, and I have 2 very good friends of mine to thank for that, Robert and Tino. For a conversation of if I make a funny Destiny video, then they would play the game. And so funny moments became the identity of my channel. Season of the Deep, which I think was actually a good season in terms of content. Now, this season, I have to say, is the worst the community has ever felt about the game. Lightfall's failure made us mad. So every misstep from Bungie from this point on just turned things from bad to worse. I think one of the main grievances then and still is now was the Eververse and the monetization practices from Bungie. I will say I commend them for making expansions and seasons free for a short time in the lead up to the final shape, but things being how they were, I wasn't really happy with the state of the game. So I chose to be happy with my content. That's why I stayed as Funny Moments. I felt we needed to laugh and to get some enjoyment. I always feel we could use a laugh. But the content got better, things like Season of the Witch having a really good story and really good activities, and Season of the Wish, which many people would say probably is the best season that's ever been produced by Bungie. And somehow along the way we made it all the way to Into the Light. Now, in January, I made a commitment to YouTube. See, I wanted to reach 1,000 subscribers, so I said that I would do one video per week. Sometimes I've even done 2 videos per week, and I've stuck to that ever since I started back up in January. The build videos do good, so I focus on those, but still with my humorous style. This past month has been all about Pantheon for me and trying to tie up loose ends. I'm sure everyone agrees that Into the Light has been phenomenal for the game, from the guns to Pantheon to even new Crucible maps. Like, where did those come from? Even me getting Godslayer in rank 11 for the first time. And I feel as a player I've just been enjoying the game these past couple of months. But where does that leave me though? Well, to be honest, as good as the final shape looks, I can't help but feel it's the end to all of this. How can I not when the word final is in the name of the expansion? I know they've said there's more, but it's the end of this chapter, this 9-year-long chapter. And through all the highs and lows of my life, I've had Destiny there ready to cheer me up, regardless of its own highs and lows. But every good story must have an ending, so I'm ready to see how this story will end, because I know that I can't wait for the next one to start. Thank you all for watching, and please stay alrighty. Alrighty, well, that was a fun one. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Tomorrow, right here on YouTube, for the release of the final shape, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live stream. Myself, Tino, and Adrian. So, make sure to stop in, say hello, say what's up. Love to have you there, and I'll see you for the final shape. Stay alrighty, Guardians.